It's time for another garden update. Let's take a look around. We've had a lot that's gone on in the last week. We've had a couple of storms that pretty much tore up the garden pretty good. I removed a few corn stalks that were blown over. I think you can see, if I just go over here, you can see the leaves have been pretty much ripped up by the hail. This eggplant here was beautiful, had lots of big, large leaves. The only few that I left on have a few holes in them. The rest of them were shredded that I removed. But most of what the damage we got was just cosmetic, except for some of the fruit that was damaged, like in this green stalk planter. You look at these little tomatoes here, you can tell each one of them have been hit at least once. Some of them have been hit several times. So you got a bunch of fruit that has been damaged. See if I can get the camera to cooperate here. You can see most of them have been hit at least once, and then even the stems have been dinged up. The leaves don't look nearly as pretty because they've been ripped up. We've still got lots of tomatoes to pick though. Let me see if I can show you some of these. Yeah, some of them were even split open. I'm going to have to go through here and pick off some of these damaged fruits, but overall, it could have been a lot worse, so I'm not going to complain too much. Some people lost their entire garden, so we came out pretty good. It just kind of blew things around, knocked some plants over. Some of these peppers are starting to get a good number of peppers on them. Let me see if I can show you these. There's that Midwest pandemonium. Some of those are even starting to get ripe. It's not a very big plant, but it has lots of peppers on it. The Swiss chard, we had lots of big, large leaves on those. I left a few leaves. You can see the ones that I left are full of holes from the hail, but it was looking really good before the storms. We had two main storms that came through. One was mainly wind that knocked some things over, and the other was hail. You can see the hail damage on that leaf. That leaf kind of blew the bush beans all over the place, but they'll do all right. Most of the tomatoes came out pretty well as far as the plants. We had some fruit that was damaged. You can see the ripped up leaves on the whole beans here. And most of the tomatoes got leaves knocked off of them. The pole beans over here also pretty much ripped up. A few leaves were knocked off. Let me see if I can show you how tall this is. I've added some bamboo extensions. That makes it go up to 8 feet. And some of the vines are already up to the top. This eggplant over here has got holes in it, but it wasn't as ripped up as bad as the ones in the raised bed, so I pretty much left most of the leaves on that one. But most of the Swiss chard, I just pulled almost every large leaf off of them. They'll come back. We're getting quite a few tomatoes. You can see the damage on these too. Very disappointing, but what are you going to do? It's Mother Nature. We needed the rain. We got plenty of rain. We went from drought to flood warnings. Getting lots of tomatoes on some of the plants. I think I counted this one, and it had 25 tomatoes on it. Some of them don't have nearly that many, but we're going to have plenty of tomatoes. These tomato cross plants here from my project, they're crossed between a determinate and a dwarf. And at first I thought I was dealing with two dwarfs, so I ended up with some determinates, some indeterminates, and some dwarfs that are determinate and dwarfs that are indeterminate. So I had a pretty good mix. So I'm evaluating all of these and deciding which ones I want to carry forward next year. Like I mentioned, I cut most of the leaves off the eggplants. We have some strawberries that are starting to bloom in this raised bed. Everything's growing pretty well, except for being beat up a little bit. Those little micro tomatoes that I put in there, they're starting to take off a little bit, getting some blooms on them. Sweet potatoes are starting to trail off the edge. I'm trying to keep those trimmed so they don't smother out the rest of the plants. The strawberries on this end are really growing well, and I cut most of the leaves off of that eggplant. Those peas are just about finished. I'm going to have to pull those out soon and plant something else, probably some more beets like I have in that grow bag. This little grow bag over here that looks like has nothing in it, I bought some $2 worth of ginger from the grocery store. You can see some of it starting to come up. It'll be a while probably before the rest of it comes up. These are the Kennebec potatoes, blueberries. This is a pepper cross that I did not do. You can see some variety. There's same cross. You got yellow peppers and purple peppers. We got russet potatoes here. Some of my peppers back there. More russet potatoes. More peppers. There's a mutant pepper for those who haven't seen one. They look a lot different than a regular pepper. The carrots are really taking off. I've been thinning those once in a while until I get down to the desired amount. Some pots over here. This is a determinate dwarf that has probably medium-sized tomatoes, I would call them. And I did one cross. That's that little gold tie there, so I could mark it. I'm going to save seeds from that one tomato, and it'll be a special project for next year. Some more micro tomatoes down here. They got beat up a little bit too. Well, more than a little bit. It just, everything was looking so beautiful, and now not so much. The banana, the leaves on it are shredded from the high winds, mainly, and a little bit from the hail. And down on this end I have some garlic that I planted from bulbils. In that pot I planted some very late potatoes. In this pot we'll probably get maybe some small potatoes late, maybe in September. Got a sweet potato in there. I don't know if it'll have time to do anything, but it was very cheap, so I bought it. And we have a fig. I finally transplanted that into the 10-gallon grow bag. There's the sweet potatoes in the straw bale. Got the amaranth that I trimmed up quite a bit. It's got quite a bit of hail damage too, but it already had insect damage. And the fennel's probably about 5 feet tall. It's starting to get flower heads, but still no black swallowtail caterpillars on it yet. I've seen a few of the butterflies, but they haven't laid any eggs over here as far as I can tell. I finally set up a string trellis for the Armenian cucumber, and then I found some Malabar spinach that came up volunteer, and I transplanted it over here and set up a trellis for that. Got some Bermuda grass I need to get out of there. There's always something to do. Here's a determinate down on this end of the garden that has quite a few tomatoes on it. I'm not sure how many tomatoes I'll save and carry on for next year, but I'm guessing I'll probably have 4 or 5 projects for next year from this one cross. Here's the Jimmy Nardello Courbaki cross, and I actually have one starting to get ripe. I'll probably do a taste test on that one compared to a Jimmy Nardello. I have one Jimmy Nardello growing over here, but it's going to be a while before it has some peppers on it. It's right there. Forgot to mention that I have some beans growing in the bottom of the green stalk planter. I pulled the spinach out and planted beans, and they got kind of ripped up by the hail too, but they were sheltered a little bit by the tomatoes above them, or they might have been completely destroyed. I think this angle gives you a better idea of how tall the corn is. Some of it is probably about 7 feet tall now and still growing. Haven't seen any tassels start to come out yet or any silk. Here's the compost pile. This is kind of the aftermath of some of the pruning that I did. You can see a lot of the Swiss chard leaves in there, a couple of corn stalks, and a few other things, some banana leaves. If you have a garden, let us know how your garden's doing. If you're just now finding this channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.